It's kind of amazing, like what subjects are actually like mainstream now. I mean, if you really look at just the actual numbers, like FTX, the FTX scandal is mainstream.
Fantastic,
because
I love
it's mainstream on the internet. And the internet is where everybody is. So it is mainstream. Even if they're not discussing it very much on, these networks that might have had some sort of a financial tie
could
to
have
FTX.
been. Could have been. I don't know. Yes.
Maybe some of these politicians
197
to look the other way.
197 people in Congress took money from FTX.
What are the coincidences? 197 coincidences.
I'm just saying. It just happens.
What a great move, though. Buy off everybody. But even then, it still doesn't help you if your money runs out. That's a weird little whore game you're playing. You could pay off as many people as you can, keep it running, but you better keep that fucking hustle running.
This is so loaded with shit that I don't think we'll ever see the bottom of this pit.
Well, as a guy who's really into crypto, that must be fascinating for you to watch that blow apart, right?
Well, I'm very happy that it blew apart because these are all shit coins. As a guy who was into Bitcoin, not crypto, all of this came after Bitcoin. All of it's shit, and all of it needs to go to zero. And
so you think Bitcoin is the only way?
Well, yeah, no one controls it. There's no CEO. No one can do anything different with it. It just exists. And it kind of exists because of the network of people, because ultimately you don't need any company. You don't even need mining companies. I run 2 miners at home. I print about $1.50 a day. And I love it. It makes me feel in control of my destiny, that I can do things with other people and the government can't tell me what I can or cannot do with my money.
I love that Adam Curry's a Bitcoin miner. It's awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun. It really is.
I'm sure.
But I integrated that into podcasting 2.0. So now
$1.25 a day, you say?
$1.50. More at the current prices. It's not about the money. It's more about
fun.
I'm keeping the network alive. I'm part of the network. I'm part of millions of people who believe in what Bitcoin is capable of, and that it's really an escape hatch. When all the shit comes down, if I want to receive value or money, and the government won't let me, or Elon's system won't let me, or PayPal won't let me, whatever it is, I can still transact with someone, and you literally cannot stop that. You cannot stop the transfer of Bitcoin. You can stop buying Bitcoin for dollars. You can stop selling Bitcoin for dollars, but you can't stop me from mining Bitcoin, and you can't stop me from sending it to you or you sending it to me. That can't be. That's it, unless you turn off the internet, and then it can still work.
Yeah. The fluctuations, though, they don't disturb you. Do you think that eventually that will even out and become more rational? Like the idea that it can drop from 70 to 20, is that ever going to balance out? Is it more stable now than it was initially? It's obviously more valuable than it was initially.
Yes. Well, if you look at the mathematics of it, it is intended to always increase in value.
You know about that dude that lost a hard drive full?
He's an idiot.
And he's paying them to go through the dump?
I literally, the way so if you can remember 12 short words, your Bitcoin is always with you. So I can travel across the world. If I can remember 12 words and I enter those into any random Bitcoin program, my wallet, my money will come right back. There's some people, I don't believe this, but some people who think that if you remember your 12 words, when you die in the afterworld, you'll still have your Bitcoin. If you remember the 12 words. But that's a very unique feature, that you can go anywhere in the world without any technology or whatever. As long as you can remember 12 words, you can have access to your Bitcoin. That's cool.
Someone can get them 12 words out of you.
Yeah, of course they can beat it out of you.
Yeah,
of course.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it could be nasty.
Anybody could just drag your Bitcoin out.
They could. But so that's why you want to have multiple wallets, and you want to do other things.
Jesus, Adam Curry. Oh, jeez.
I'm not too worried about that. I just like the idea, and I don't view it as an investment. I mean, every company on NASDAQ and Dow Jones has gone down by 60-70%. So everyone's value is down right now.
Right.
Remember, it's Bitcoin versus the U.S. dollar. When the U.S. dollar gains value, the DXY, which is how they, versus the pound or the euro, then of course Bitcoin is going to be less valuable.
Right.
If the dollar goes down, Bitcoin becomes more valuable. It's two sides of the same coin. when you look at Bitcoin versus dollars. If you just look at Bitcoin as in Bitcoin, then it's still, if you have a Bitcoin, you still have a Bitcoin. It's
so this FTX thing was all what you would call shit coins.
100%.
So these are all cryptocurrencies that just exist on someone's imagination.
They made it up. They just made it up, and they could create as many as they want. That's the whole game. We go back to the dollar. They created 40% of all the dollars printed were made in the last 3 years. What do we get? Inflation. Bitcoin will be 21 million. That's it. And we won't mint the 21st million Bitcoin until 150 years from now. We'll all be dead.
So explain to me these crypto shit coins. So anybody can just decide that they're going to start a coin, and then if it gets popular and people are willing to buy it, then it becomes valuable. And then you could also have not just coins, but you could also have, like, what was the other thing that they have, Jamie? But there's coins and but there's also like, what's that other shit?
A token.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
But the token's not as regulated?
No. Oh, well, okay.
Isn't a token?
Hold on.
They're changeable words sometimes.
Oh my God, I hate everybody.
Hold on. There's something else. There's one other thing. So there's token and coin is the same thing. There's something called a stable coin, and this is kind of where it started to go wrong. The stable coin is a token that is supposed to be equal to the U.S. dollar. So 1 Terra, which went bankrupt famously, 1 USDC, all these different stable coins, and they are used to transact at a dollar value.
Oh.
But they're supposed to be backed by 1-to-1 bonds, money, cash money, etc. This is now getting regulated. This is what BlackRock is doing. BlackRock invested in USDC, and so I believe it's inflationary, but it really is. The idea is you can now transact with a digital dollar back and forth that is the value of a dollar. And it turns out that some of these no one has actually said, well, so there's 10 billion I'm just making the number, 10 billion USDC tokens, stable coin. When you ask, can you please show me that you have $10 billion in value backing that up? Everyone says, no, that's none of your business.
Oh.
So it's very iffy what's going on there. And Terra, that started the whole thing off. That went bankrupt because people started saying, I want to give you my stable coins, give me US dollars. And it was a run on the bank. And they didn't have all the assets to pay everybody the money. And then it just starts to unwind because that's what all these guys are. Bitcoin it's now 14 years old. It was a great invention, and people saw that and said, what a great idea. I'm going to rip people off by creating these shit coins, make them valuable just by buying and selling, creating more,